I was 7 when I learned that being perfect wasn't enough. Not in my family, anyway. My sister Ruby could bring home C's and get ice cream. I could ace every test and get nothing but a distracted nod. I'm Eloise, and I've spent 35 years being the other daughter. Darling, you look professional, my mother said last night. Her lips pursed as she examined my blazer and pencil skirt. The way she said professional made it sound like a terminal illness. Ruby always manages to look so effortlessly glamorous, doesn't she? I took another sip of wine, letting the bitter Merlot wash away the even more bitter retort I wanted to make. Ruby sat across from me at our parents' mahogany dining table, wearing what looked like a month of my rent and designer clothes. Her perfect blonde hair caught the chandelier light while she texted away, probably updating her Instagram followers about our precious family dinner. Speaking of Ruby, my father cleared his throat, we have something important to discuss. I knew that tone. It was his "we need a favor, but we'll pretend it's not a favor" voice. I'd heard it too many times before. Ruby and Jonah found the most darling house, my mother gushed, reaching over to squeeze Ruby's manicured hand. 4 bedrooms, a pool, perfect for the children. But you know how the market is. Ruby finally looked up from her phone, those big blue eyes already welling with tears. Always on cue, always perfect. "The bank wants a bigger deposit than we expected," she said softly. 30,000 more. I nearly choked on my wine. 30,000? "Now, Eloise," my father cut in, "we know you're careful with money. Your mother mentioned you've built up quite a savings account." Of course she did, because mother had been borrowing my account statements from my mail since I was 18. Careful with money was their code for boring and single. "We've already promised to help," my mother added, "but with your father's retirement, you want me to give Ruby $30,000? I said it slowly, making sure I hadn't misunderstood. "For a house deposit." Ruby sniffled. "It's not giving, really. It's investing in family." "What about your influencer income?" I asked. "All those sponsored posts?" "Don't be crude, Eloise," my mother snapped. "This isn't about money. It's about supporting family, something you've always struggled with." "I struggle with it?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "That's rich, Mom, really rich." My father's face darkened. "Your sister has children to think about, a real family. Stop being jealous of her life and think about someone other than yourself for once." The room went quiet. Ruby dabbed at her eyes with an embroidered napkin. My mother stared at me with that mixture of disappointment and manipulation she'd perfected over the years. My father wouldn't meet my eyes. I could feel the familiar pressure building, the weight of their expectations, the subtle guilt trips, the unspoken comparison to Ruby's picture-perfect life. But something was different this time. Maybe it was the wine, or maybe it was 35 years of being the family ATM finally reaching its limit. "Okay," I said quietly. Ruby's tears dried instantly. "Really?" "Of course." I smiled, and for once it wasn't forced. "What are sisters for?" My mother beamed, already planning the housewarming party in her head. My father nodded approvingly, probably relieved he wouldn't have to dip into his golf fund. But they didn't see what I saw. They didn't notice how Ruby's designer purse was a knockoff, or how she'd been wearing the same expensive jewelry for months. They didn't see her hands shaking slightly when she mentioned the deposit, or the way she wouldn't quite meet my eyes. I'd spent my whole life watching Ruby, learning her tales, collecting her lies like others collected stamps, and now, finally, I had a use for them all. "I'll transfer the money tomorrow," I said, standing up and gathering my things. "But Ruby, honey, you'll need to come to the bank with me, sign some papers." "Papers?" She looked uncertain for the first time. "Just formalities," I assured her. "Nothing to worry about." As I drove home that night, I made 3 calls. one to my friend Joanna at the law firm, one to my bank, and one to a private investigator I'd kept on speed dial ever since Ruby borrowed my identity for a credit card 6 years ago. Sometimes the best revenge isn't saying no, it's saying yes and watching everything fall apart. Sign here and here, the bank manager said, sliding the paperwork across his desk. This authorizes the transfer and sets up the tracking notifications. Ruby's pen hesitated above the line. Tracking notifications? Standard procedure for large transfers, I explained smoothly. The bank likes to monitor for fraud. What I didn't mention was that Joanna had helped me set up a sophisticated web of financial alerts that would ping me every time Ruby spent more than $100. The bank manager, an old client of mine, had been happy to help with the extra paperwork. I just feel awful about this, Ruby said, signing with a flourish. I'll pay you back as soon as we're settled. I thought about the time she'd borrowed Dad's credit card for a shopping spree in college. She'd promised to pay that back too. Dad had ended up writing it off as a gift, just like everything else. No rush, I said, watching the transfer complete. $30,000 gone in seconds. But this time, I had a safety net. My phone buzzed as we left the bank. It was Joanna. Everything's set up, ready for phase 2? I texted back a thumbs up emoji and turned to Ruby. Hey, remember that spa voucher you gave me for Christmas? The one from Luminous Day Spa, of course. I thought I might use it today. Want to come with? Ruby's face fell. Oh, I wish I could, but I have a lunch thing with Cecilia. Perfect. No worries. Another time. The spa was exactly where I needed to be. Teddy Stone, the manager, greeted me warmly. Ms. Eloise, haven't seen you in ages. Your sister was just here yesterday. I feigned surprise. Ruby? But she said she'd never been here. Teddy laughed. Never been here? She's our best customer. Has the platinum membership and everything. Just had the full works yesterday. Massage, facial, the new gold infusion treatment. Gold infusion? I raised an eyebrow. That sounds expensive. Oh yes, $899 per session. But your sister never minds the cost. Says it's essential for her social media presence. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Joanna. First alert just came in. $74,100 at Resort Paradise. Want the details? I smiled at Teddy. You know what? I think I'll skip the treatment today, but I'd love to see your membership pricing. Later that evening, I sat in my apartment reviewing everything Joanna had sent over. Resort Paradise wasn't just a spa charge. It was a full weekend booking for Ruby and her influencer friend Cecilia. The same Cecilia she was supposedly having lunch with right now. My phone rang. It was my mother. Eloise, darling, Ruby just showed us the most wonderful house tour video. The closing is in 3 weeks. We're all so excited. I could hear Ruby in the background, probably showing off more photos. That's great, Mom. Hey, quick question. Has Ruby mentioned her trip next weekend? Trip? What trip? Oh, I said innocently. Maybe it's a surprise. Never mind. I hung up just as another alert came through. Ruby had just spent $2,300 at a designer boutique, the same amount as the mortgage prepayment she'd supposedly made yesterday. My mind flashed back to Christmas 5 years ago. Ruby had announced she was pregnant with her first child, effectively ruining my promotion announcement. Everyone had fawned over her while my news went unmentioned. Later, I'd overheard her telling Cecilia it was a false alarm, but she needed the attention. You okay? Joanna's voice came through on speakerphone. These numbers are pretty damning. I watched another alert pop up. $500 at a wine bar. I'm fine. How long until the house closing? 3 weeks. Want me to keep tracking? Yes, I said, opening my laptop to document everything. Every penny, every purchase, every lie. Let's see how long she can keep juggling. You know, Joanna said carefully, we could stop this now. Show your parents the evidence before she wastes all the money. I thought about all the times I tried to warn them about Ruby, all the times they dismissed me as jealous, bitter, or cruel, all the years of watching them enable her while I was cast as the villain. No, I replied, watching another alert pop up. Sometimes people need to learn the hard way, even parents. And Ruby? I clicked through the mounting evidence of her spending spree. Ruby's about to learn that karma doesn't care how many Instagram followers you have. My phone lit up with a text from Jonah, Ruby's husband. Hey, things are a bit tense at home. Can we grab coffee soon? Need to talk. I smiled. The threads were starting to unravel, and I hadn't even had to pull them. Dad, have you seen how crazy the inflation rates are getting? I stirred my coffee, watching his reaction carefully. We were sitting in his study, surrounded by the familiar smell of old books and leather. It's concerning, he muttered, barely looking up from his newspaper, but Ruby assures me their financial advisor has everything under control. I bit back a laugh. Ruby's financial advisor was probably just Cecilia giving fashion investment tips on TikTok. Speaking of advisors, I got an interesting call yesterday. My phone rang, cutting me off. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, already knowing what it would be. The third debt collection agency this week looking for Ruby. Everything okay? Dad asked, finally glancing up. Just work, I lied, the same way he'd been lying to himself about Ruby for years. Hey, did Ruby tell you about her new investment strategy? But he was already reaching for his golf clubs. Sorry, Princess, running late for my tea time. We'll catch up later? I watched him hurry out, wondering if he'd ever actually caught up with me about anything. My phone buzzed with a text from Joanna. Public records search complete. You need to see this. Before I could check it, someone tapped my shoulder. I turned to find Jonah standing behind me in the coffee shop where I'd retreated after leaving Dad's house. Eloise, he said, looking exhausted, I'm glad I ran into you. The dark circles under his eyes told me everything I needed to know. Want to sit? He slumped into the chair across from me. Things are tense at home. Ruby keeps saying everything's fine, but he ran his hands through his hair. We're behind on the kids' school fees, the car payment, everything. She swears it's just temporary, that the house deposit is safe, but... My phone buzzed again. Another voicemail from an unknown number. This is the final notice for Ruby James Wilcox regarding outstanding payments. Have you checked your joint accounts? I asked carefully. Ruby handles all that, he said. Says I'm too negative about money, but yesterday I found shopping bags in her closet, brand new jewelry, still in boxes. When I asked about it, she said they were props for her social media posts. I nodded, thinking about the credit card alerts I'd been getting. The props had cost more than Jonah's monthly salary. He hesitated. I thought you might know something. You work in finance, right? Before I could answer, my phone lit up with an email from Joanna. The subject line read, Paris? I wish I could help, I said, standing up, but Ruby's always been private about money. Jonah's face fell. Yeah, I get it. Family loyalty and all that. Family loyalty. The same excuse they'd use to take my savings. The same reason I was supposed to stay quiet every time Ruby lied, cheated, or stole. I walked home slowly, opening Joanna's email. There they were. Receipts from boutiques in Paris dated 2 weeks ago. Ruby smiling in front of the Eiffel Tower on a burner Instagram account. Shopping bags from stores I couldn't even pronounce. My mother's voice echoed in my head from last Christmas. Ruby's so good with money, such a provider for her family. Not everyone needs a fancy career to be successful, Eloise. My phone rang again. Mom. Darling, did you see Ruby's latest post? The house is absolutely perfect. She's such a shining light in our family, always thinking of others. I stared at the Paris receipts. Yeah, Mom, she's something all right. I know you two have had your differences, but I'm so proud of you for helping with the deposit. That's what family does. I opened my tracking app. Ruby had just charged $18,000 at a casino resort. You're right, Mom, I said quietly. That's exactly what family does. After hanging up, I texted Joanna. Send me everything you have, every receipt, every transaction, every secret account. It's time. You sure? She replied. Once this starts, another alert popped up. Ruby was booking first class tickets somewhere. I'm sure, I typed back. She wanted to play house with my money. Let's see how long her castle of cards stays standing. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Ruby. Hey sis, quick favor. Can you delete those spa membership records you asked for? Jonah's being weird about money lately. Love you. I screenshot the message and added it to my growing file. The truth was coming, whether they were ready or not. The text from Jonah came at 3 a.m. Bank accounts overdrawn, all of them. Ruby's not answering her phone. Please help. I watched the dots appear and disappear as he typed more messages. Found jewelry in the guest room, dozens of boxes, price tags still on. She said the deposit was safe. Where is the money, Eloise? I set my phone down, remembering my 16th birthday. I'd saved for months to throw myself a party, the first real one I'd ever had. 10 minutes before my friends arrived, Ruby had a crisis about her boyfriend. My party turned into a Ruby comfort session. My cake went uneaten. My mother said I was selfish for being upset. My phone buzzed again. Jonah, please, I don't know who else to ask. I typed back, come over tomorrow, 9 a.m. Sleep didn't come easily. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ruby's smug face at family dinners, heard my mother's constant praise, felt the sting of my father's dismissal, the perfect daughter in the spare. That's how it had always been. At 8:57 a.m., Jonah knocked on my door. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Coffee, I offered. He shook his head. Just answers, please. My phone pinged. An alert showing Ruby had just spent $3,000 at a luxury hotel. You should sit down, I said. He collapsed onto my couch. The kids' school called yesterday. Tuition checks bounced. Ruby said it was a bank error. Another alert. Ruby was shopping online right now. Then I found these. He pulled out his phone, showing me photos of shopping bags stuffed in their guest room closet. Designer everything, still wrapped. Must be 40 grand worth. When did you find them? Last night, after the bank called about overdraft fees. Ruby said they were gifts for her followers, sponsorship items. He laughed bitterly. I checked the receipts. She bought them, all of them. My phone lit up with an email from my mother. Ruby's housewarming party next month. Theme, Parisian luxury. Isn't she clever? Jonah, I said carefully, what exactly did Ruby tell you about the house deposit? That it was sorted, your money plus some savings she'd been keeping separate. His voice cracked. There are no savings, are there? I pulled out my laptop. No, there aren't. Over the next hour, I showed him selected pieces of evidence, credit card statements, shopping sprees, the Paris trip, the casino visits. With each revelation, he seemed to shrink further into my couch. The deposit money, he whispered. You're 30,000. Where is it? I pulled up the tracking data. Gone, most of it within the first week. Why didn't you stop her? His voice rose. Why didn't you say something? Would you have believed me? I asked quietly. Would anyone have believed me over perfect Ruby? He stood up suddenly, pacing my living room. I have to tell someone. Your parents already enable her. They always have. The bank will want their money. The police won't do anything. She had authorization to use the money. He stopped pacing. Then what am I supposed to do? My phone buzzed again. A message from Ruby. Hey sis, can you believe some crazy person is spreading rumors about my spending? So toxic. Anyway, could you maybe help with a tiny loan just until my sponsorship money comes in? Love you. I showed him the message. You wait. For what? For the truth to finish unraveling itself. He grabbed his coat. I can't just wait. I have kids, Eloise, a life she's destroying. Trust me, I said. It won't take long now. After he left, I opened my email to find a message from my mother, gushing about Ruby's incredible eye for design and how the new house would be a testament to her success. I clicked through my evidence folder, past the credit card statements and bank alerts, until I found what I was looking for, a video from Ruby's secret Instagram account. She was in Paris, champagne in hand, laughing about how she'd finally escaped the suburban nightmare for a while. The timestamp? 2 days after she'd gotten my money. My phone lit up one last time. A text from Joanna. Found something big, really big. Ready to end this? I thought about Jonah's face when he saw the evidence, about my 16th birthday cake, uneaten, about 35 years of being the family disappointment. Yes, I typed back. Send everything. Eloise, please. Ruby sobbed into the phone. I need your help. Someone's been telling the creditors where to find me. I stirred my morning coffee, watching the steam rise. Creditors? What creditors? Don't play dumb, she snapped, then quickly softened her tone. Sorry, I'm just stressed. Could you maybe loan me a little more, just until things settle down? How much is a little, Ruby? 50,000? Her voice went small, practice, the same voice she'd used on our parents countless times. I'll pay you back double, triple. My sponsorship deals are about to, like you paid back the 30,000. Silence. Ruby? That money went to the house, she said quickly. You know that. I opened my laptop where Joanna had just sent over Ruby's latest credit card statement. Did it? Because I'm looking at some interesting charges from the day after I transferred it. You're tracking my spending? The fake tears vanished from her voice. That's illegal. Actually, it's not. You signed the paperwork yourself, remember? More silence then. Does Mom know about this? Does Dad? There it was, the trump card she'd always played, family loyalty. Not yet, I said calmly, but Jonah might be interested in seeing these casino charges from last weekend. You wouldn't dare. Her voice turned cold. I'll tell them everything, how you've always been jealous, how you're trying to ruin my life. Go ahead, I cut her off. I'm sure they'd love to hear about the Paris shopping spree too, or should we start with the maxed out credit cards in Dad's name? The line went dead. My phone buzzed immediately with a text from Joanna. Package delivered to your door. Everything we found. You might want to sit down for this one. I retrieved the package, a simple manila envelope, and spread its contents across my kitchen table. Bank statements, credit card bills, loan applications, GPS logs. But what caught my eye was a single document with a government letterhead. Oh, Ruby, I whispered, what did you do? My phone rang again. This time it was Jonah. I found her secret account, he said without preamble. The one she opened the day after your transfer. Eloise, there's nothing left. I know. No, you don't understand. There's nothing left anywhere. Our savings, the kids' college funds, everything. She's emptied it all. I looked at the government document again. Jonah, when was the last time you checked your credit score? His sharp intake of breath told me everything. Why? Because I'm looking at 6 loan applications in your name, all approved, all maxed out. But I never, he stopped. She forged my signature? Among other things, I shuffled through the papers. Want to know where your kids' college funds really went? Tell me. First class tickets to Dubai, designer shopping sprees, five-star hotels, all while you were working overtime to make ends meet. The silence on his end was deafening. Jonah? Send me everything, he said quietly. Every document, every receipt, every lie. Are you sure? Once this starts, send it. After hanging up, I checked my alerts. Ruby was at a luxury spa right now, probably trying to relax away her problems with my money. A text from my mother popped up. Ruby says you're being difficult about a small loan. Really, Eloise? After everything she's done for the family? I started typing a response, then deleted it. Let them keep believing in their perfect daughter, for now. My doorbell rang. It was Joanna holding another file. Found these this morning, she said, spreading out more documents. Looks like Ruby's been running a little Ponzi scheme with her influencer followers, taking investments for fake products, using new money to pay off old investors. I picked up a complaint filed with the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit. How many people? Hundreds, mostly young women who followed her lifestyle posts. Total damages around $2 million. My phone lit up with another call from Ruby, ignored. What's your plan? Joanna asked. I gathered all the evidence into one folder. We wait. For what? Right on cue, my phone buzzed with a text from Jonah. Just found her hidden account. What do I do? I smiled, thinking of all the birthdays, all the family dinners, all the times I'd been told to be more like my perfect sister. We wait for them to realize that perfect people often cast the darkest shadows. The knock on my door came at midnight. Jonah stood there clutching a shopping bag full of unopened bills. Found these in her desk, he said, pushing past me into the apartment. All addressed to Ruby, all marked final notice. He dumped the contents onto my coffee table. Some are from 2 years ago. I picked up one of the envelopes. Credit card bill, $47,000 past due. Have you opened them? Didn't need to. He pulled out his phone. Because I found these. He played a voicemail. This message is for Ruby James Wilcox regarding the defaulted business loan. Legal action will commence. There's more, he said, swiping through messages. Dozens more. From banks, credit cards, private lenders, even some of her followers demanding their investment money back. I walked to my study and returned with my laptop. Then it's time you saw everything. For the next hour, I showed him the complete trail, the compiled financial records, the secret accounts, the forged documents, the Instagram posts bragging about luxury purchases while their children's school fees went unpaid. Here's her location history, I said, pulling up a map. See this? While you were working double shifts last month, she was at a five-star resort in Miami with Cecilia. Jonah's face went pale. The weekend she said she was visiting her sick aunt? The aunt she doesn't have? Yes. He stood up suddenly, pacing my living room. I have to tell someone. The police. Already know, I said, showing him the FBI complaints. Your wife isn't just a shopaholic, Jonah. She's running a pyramid scheme through her social media. The house deposit was gone before the ink dried on the transfer. He collapsed back onto my couch. Why are you showing me this now? Because you needed to see it yourself. Would you have believed me otherwise? He shook his head slowly. What do I do? I opened my email and typed our parents' address. First, we show them the truth. Your parents? They'll never believe it. They will when they see this. I attached the complete file, every receipt, every lie, every secret account. Added a simple message, time to wake up. Hit send. My phone rang almost immediately. Mother's number. I let it go to voicemail. Eloise. Her voice trembled through the speaker. I Think we made a mistake. Please come over. Jonah was already grabbing his coat. I need to get the kids, get them somewhere safe before. Go, I said. I'll handle the fallout. After he left, I listened to the stream of voicemails flooding in. My father, uncharacteristically quiet. Please call us. My mother, increasingly desperate. This can't be right. There must be some mistake. Ruby, furious. What have you done? You've ruined everything. I drove to their house slowly, rehearsing what I'd say. But when my mother opened the door, mascara streaking her cheeks, words weren't necessary. Is it true? She whispered. I handed her my phone, open to Ruby's secret Instagram account. Photos of her living it up in Paris while begging for the house deposit. Videos of her bragging about scamming her followers. There's more, I said, pulling out a USB drive. Every transaction, every lie, even the credit card she took out in Dad's name. My father appeared behind her, looking older than I'd ever seen him. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Would you have believed me? Over her? They led me to the living room where Ruby's perfect family photos still lined the walls. My mother's hands shook as she plugged the USB into their laptop. Oh, God, she gasped, scrolling through the evidence. The children's college funds. Gone, I confirmed, along with everything else. My phone buzzed. A text from Jonah. Kids are safe at my brother's, filing for separation tomorrow. Another buzz. Ruby again. You think you've won? Wait until I tell them about you. How you set me up. How you've always been jealous. I blocked her number. What do we do? My mother asked, still staring at the screen. Nothing, I said. It's already done. The FBI is investigating the investment scam. The banks are freezing accounts. Jonah's leaving. But she's our daughter, my father protested weakly. And what am I? The question hung in the air, heavy with 35 years of favoritism and blind eyes. My mother reached for my hand. Eloise. We didn't know. You didn't want to know, I corrected her, standing up. There's a difference. I left them there, surrounded by the evidence of their perfect daughter's perfect lies. As I drove home, my phone lit up with one final text from Jonah. Thank you for showing me the truth. I smiled, thinking of Ruby's empty throne, finally toppled by her own lies. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's illumination. You planned all this, my mother said quietly. We sat in their kitchen a week later, the morning light casting long shadows across the granite countertops. From the very beginning, I stirred my tea, watching the leaves swirl. No, I just stopped protecting you from the truth. But the tracking, the evidence. She pushed away her untouched coffee. You must have known what she was doing. I suspected. Ruby's never been as clever as she thinks. My father joined us, looking haggard. The FBI had visited yesterday, asking questions about Ruby's social media investment scheme. The investigators say it could be federal charges. $2 million is a lot of money to steal, I said. Borrow. My mother corrected automatically, then caught herself. Old habits die hard. My phone buzzed. A message from Joanna. Ruby just tried to board a flight to Dubai. Airport security stopped her. She's running? My father asked, seeing my expression. Trying to. I showed them the text. She won't get far. My mother's hands trembled as she reached for her coffee. I keep thinking, all those times she needed money, all those emergencies, were any of them real? Does it matter now? Of course it matters, she snapped. We gave her everything, defended her against everyone, even you. Her voice broke. Especially you. The doorbell rang. Jonah stood there with his 2 children, looking uncertain. The kids wanted to say goodbye, he said, before we move. My mother rushed to hug her grandchildren while my father stood awkwardly by the stairs. These might be the last moments they'd have together for a long time. Where will you go? I asked Jonah quietly. My brother's place in Seattle? Fresh start. He handed me an envelope. The lawyers found more accounts. She was stealing from her followers right until the end. Inside were screenshots of Ruby's private messages to her victims, young women who'd trusted her, invested their savings in her fake products, believed in her perfect life. I've been getting calls, my mother said, still holding her grandchildren, from these girls' parents. They trusted her, like we did. My phone lit up with another alert. Ruby had just posted on her main Instagram account, "The truth about my toxic family. Live in 10 minutes. Let her talk, I said, seeing their panic. Nobody's listening anymore. Jonah gathered the children, making promises about video calls and summer visits. After they left, my mother turned to me. You could have exposed her years ago. Why now? I thought about the house deposit, the final straw in a lifetime of exploitation, because sometimes people need to lose everything to see what they had. And what did we have, Eloise? My father asked. A daughter who lied to us, or a daughter we refused to see? Both, I said simply. My phone buzzed again. Ruby's Instagram Live had started. I connected it to their TV, letting them watch their perfect daughter's mask finally crack. They're trying to destroy me, Ruby sobbed to her dwindling followers. My own sister, so jealous she set me up. My husband stealing my children, my toxic parents. I turned it off. She'll keep lying until there's no one left to lie to. You? My mother hesitated. You have proof of everything? I pulled out my laptop, showing them the complete timeline, every transaction, every fake investment, every stolen moment of their misplaced trust. The house deposit was just the beginning, I explained. She's been running cons for years. The influencer lifestyle, the perfect marriage, even her charity work. It was all fake. My father's face crumpled. We enabled this, didn't we? You believed what you wanted to believe. My mother reached for my hand. And you? What did you believe all these years? That someday you'd see her for who she really was, or see me for who I wasn't. Their silence spoke volumes. My phone rang. Jonah again. The FBI wants to talk to Ruby's parents. They're building their case. I looked at my parents, seeing the weight of their choices finally settling on their shoulders. They'll cooperate. After ending the call, I stood to leave. My mother grabbed my arm. Eloise, she whispered, you planned all this. I thought about Ruby's tears always on cue, her manipulations always perfectly timed, her lies always carefully crafted. No, Mom, I said gently. Ruby planned this. Every choice, every lie, every stolen dollar. I just showed you the receipts. As I walked to my car, another notification popped up. Ruby's Instagram Live had ended abruptly, probably as the FBI arrived at her door. Sometimes revenge isn't about destruction. Sometimes it's about revelation. The Instagram notification made me pause mid-sip of my morning coffee. Ruby's account has been deactivated. My phone immediately lit up with texts. Joanna, it's done. FBI sees everything. Jonah, the kids are settling in well. They asked about their mom once, just once. And finally, my mother. Can we come over, please? I texted back a simple yes and waited. 20 minutes later, my parents arrived carrying a familiar-looking box. We found these, my mother said, placing it on my kitchen counter while cleaning out Ruby's old room. Inside were photos, cards, and certificates, but not Ruby's. They were mine. Academic awards, I thought, lost. Pictures of achievements they'd never acknowledge. Birthday cards they'd never seemed to read. You kept them? I asked. Ruby did, my father said quietly, in her closet, hidden behind her things. My mother pulled out a crumpled newspaper clipping, my first promotion at the finance firm. She kept everything you accomplished, everything we overlooked. Why? The FBI agent explained it, my father said. She needed to track you, to know what you were doing, how successful you were becoming, so she could. He trailed off. Stay ahead, I finished for him. Keep being the perfect daughter. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Social media influencer charged in multi-million-dollar investment fraud. My mother flinched at the headline. They're calling her the Instagram swindler now. Better than perfect daughter, I said. My father reached into his pocket and pulled out a check. It's not much, nothing compared to what you lost, but it's everything we have in our retirement account. I pushed it back across the table. Keep it, you'll need it. But the house deposit was a lesson, I interrupted, for all of us. My phone lit up again, a message from an unknown number. This is Detective Morrison. Your sister's asking to speak with you. I showed my parents the text. They waited, watching me. No, I typed back. My mother touched my arm. She's still your sister. No, I said firmly. She's your cautionary tale. The doorbell rang. It was Joanna carrying files. Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this. She spread documents across my kitchen counter, loan applications, bank statements, and a letter marked bankruptcy notice. Ruby's applying for bankruptcy protection, Joanna explained. She needs a family member to co-sign, claiming emotional distress and manipulation. My mother reached for the papers, but I stopped her. Don't, I said. This is what she does, one last play for sympathy. But if we don't help, then she'll finally face consequences, I finished, like everyone else. I took the bankruptcy notice and ripped it in half, then quarters, then eighths. The sound of tearing paper echoed in my quiet kitchen. My father cleared his throat. The FBI agent said she kept records of everything, every person she scammed, every lie she told, even had a spreadsheet of times she manipulated us against you. Of course she did, I said. Perfect crimes require perfect bookkeeping. My phone buzzed one final time. A video message from Jonah. His kids playing in their new backyard, laughing, free. We failed you, my mother whispered. All these years, we failed you. I looked at the torn bankruptcy notice, at the box of my hidden achievements, at the parents who were finally seeing clearly. No, I said, you failed yourselves. I succeeded despite it. Joanna gathered her files. The FBI wants to know if you'll testify. I thought about Ruby's perfect smile, her calculated tears, her weaponized perfection, about all the lives she had ruined chasing an image that was never real. Yes, I said, it's time for a different kind of family loyalty. My parents stood to leave, the weight of decades of willful blindness visible in their shoulders. My mother paused at the door. What happens now? She asked. I looked at my phone, at the final text from Detective Morrison. Your sister confessed to everything, said she did it to maintain expectations. Now, I said, we live in truth, however uncomfortable it might be. After they left, I opened my banking app. My savings account balance glowed back at me, untouched, protected, mine. No more family emergencies, no more perfect daughters, perfect needs. Sometimes karma isn't about revenge. Sometimes it's about balance. I deleted Ruby's contact from my phone and blocked the prison's number preemptively. Then I texted Jonah, tell the kids their aunt sends her love. Because sometimes family isn't about blood, it's about truth. And truth, unlike perfection, never needs to pretend.